Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Life After Kids with Doctors Brooke and Lynne. I am Dr. Brooke.
And I'm Dr. Lynne.
We hope you're having a great day. Today we are talking about something very important. We've been talking through our 4 foundations. Last week we talked to you about purpose, which is so important, and once again, Dr. Lynne's wheelhouse. Today we are talking about resilience. And we're both about resilience, but for me, resilience has been a big deal. Well, do you want to talk a little bit about what resilience is?
Well, let's talk about that word first, because, we tossed that around and we thought, what is the best word to really encompass our emotional health? We've got a lot of women that we know, Dr. Brooke in particular, that had some issues, and you'll share to this, with anxiety.
I'm very open about that,
and I've had that periodically throughout my life, and it's just really the worst feeling.
It is.
And so we knew that it was a huge piece of this pillar in this life after kids, but what to call it. And we came up with the term resilience, and talk about why.
Well, for me, the word resilience encompasses not only our emotional and mental health, but how we weather the storms of life. Because when we're using the term resilience, it's not just about being emotionally well, it's about being able to handle the stressors and handle what life throws at you and stay grounded and be able to bounce. Like, if you look at it, resiliency for an object is like a ball can get crushed but it can bounce back. And that's what I love about that word. And because none of us are getting away from any of our stresses. Like, we all have stress. Life is never going to be perfect. There's never going to be a point where we can remove everything. So it's like, how can we build emotional health to be resilient and to bounce back in the middle of that and to keep showing up for ourselves, for our family, and for those around us? That's what
the essence of it.
That is the essence.
And especially with everything we've all gone through collectively as women, in our families, in our communities, in our world in the last 18 months. I love the idea of it's not just about puffing you up and getting you to this place where, it's not sustainable. It's about making you a vessel that can bounce back. I love that analogy around that.
I was doing some research for that word, and when that came up, like bouncing back, it's such a good getting crushed and getting squeezed, but coming back to your original shape and bouncing back. And that is the key, because we all get knocked down sometime.
Absolutely.
And
as uncomfortable as those times are, if we could look back on those times in the future, usually those are the times of the greatest amount of growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so uncomfortable because you're being stretched. You just feel this expansive hole on you. But when you weather that and you're resilient through that,
and here's
this beautiful outcome.
Yes, and didn't mean to interrupt you, but here's the other thing, and this is something that if you can train yourself to ask this question when you're going through something really stressful, because once again, we all have stress, but when that stress comes, you're in the moment, and sometimes it really sucks, but when you can ask the question, what is this teaching me? Or how is this serving me? Or what can I learn from this? It flips it.
Flips the script.
It really does. And that's the thing, to your point, like, we grow the most and become the best versions of ourselves in the midst of storms and struggles. And for me, like, really the anxiety and emotional things that I've dealt with have defined me as a person and made me, it's weird because when you're going through something like that, you feel so weak, but then coming through it, you feel so much stronger, like, I can do this. And not that I don't still have like days or whatever, times where I'm like feeling like down. We all do. But when you get through that and get to the other side, man, it's like, it's a powerful thing, right?
Brooke 2.0.
Brooke 2.0, yes. There's a conversation around that. Oh gosh.
That's great. No, and those questions were so helpful. I have heard another question, and it's similar, but it's, where's the beauty in this?
Yes.
I love that. So, with everything that you've gone through, what do you think some of the most helpful tips are for, people in the life after kids world who are feeling that? They're in that space right now where their ground is shaky and they don't know where they stand.
Yeah. Well, I think for one thing, for me, has somebody framed this for me once, and just to think about, just from a mindset purpose, if you can imagine one of your worst days or your worst day, remind yourself that you survived that and you're still here.
That's so great.
It's so true, because
The next day, it's like, oh, that was awful, but
yeah. And if you're having another bad day, like, look, this is not the worst day I've ever had. I've had worse days than this, and I've survived them all, and I'm still here, and I'm still fighting, and I'm still bouncing back, so it's going to be okay. So we've talked in other videos, we've even talked about just exercise and how your mindset is so important. Like, you have to see yourself as the person that exercises. You have to you have to, like, I feel like we have, as women, this sense of, like, it's out of our control how we feel or what we're going through, or, you know, we can blame it on so many things. It's not necessarily out of our control.
Claim that personal
yes,
responsibility for your emotional
yes
feelings.
and not to downplay, like, the importance of getting, you know, working with a specialist. I mean, there are people that, for some of you, if you're suffering, I don't want to downplay that and I don't want to make it sound like, you just need to suck it up, right? And you can. Yeah, there have been periods of time that I've done work on myself or worked with somebody else, a specialist, when I need to. Absolutely, get the help you need, but it all starts on the inside. So that's number one. And then a couple of other things, if you're just asking for some tips with emotional health, it's mindset, but, like, and we're going to go deep with you on some of this stuff, but, like, how you eat, how you move your body, you know, breath work, all of those things. But I think one of the keys to remember is your brain health is connected to your gut health, number one, and everything that you put inside is a reflection of what comes outside. So I've told patients for years, like, garbage in, garbage out. If you're having a struggle emotionally, you have got to nail down what you're eating.
Yep.
Because so many of the things we use inflammatory, and we think of inflammation like swelling in our joints, or, like, you know, we feel achy, we feel bloated. But let me tell you something. Foods can inflame your brain.
That's so
and
good.
if you're struggling emotionally, that's a big deal.
It's
and
huge.
it's a step that we can take. Like, for me, that's been a game changer.
It's almost like because I know in that it's taken me a while throughout my health journey.
Yeah.
Because we're used to expecting a negative result right away after we eat something.
Yeah.
But it could be 2 days later that you're feeling that, just because of systemically that food has to go through, and then that inflammatory reaction that gets set up, it takes time to manifest. So we're going to be talking a lot about this topic all week on social. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, on Instagram, and that you've joined, subscribe for, obviously you're getting this vlog, but make sure that you share that with friends and the loved ones that you know that need this information.
Yeah. And once again, if I could leave you with one last thing, let us know, like, what you want to hear about, because we're doing this, we're having these conversations for you. So what we might want to hear about is maybe not what you want to hear about. So we want, like,
feedback.
Please give us feedback. We're so open, like, and we want to build this community for all of you. So thank you for the send-off.
We're all stronger together.
Absolutely,
right?
100%. We're so much stronger together. And when we talk and we share things, we see, like, oh, I'm not on an island. I'm not the only one going. We're all dealing with this. So that's the really cool thing.
The goal.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day.
Signing off. Have a good day. Bye.